back. Another video here. We are rebuilding the axle here. So I've got it tore all the way apart, third member and all. I've already popped new axle seals in, forgot to video those. And I started beating the races out here. So I'm just gonna show you guys me rebuilding the axle. We're using a Terrain Tamer kit. Got it from Terrain Tamer. It's everything you need to rebuild an 80 axle up front here. Just call them up, order it. They're super nice people. They ship fast. No complaints there. They even have other stuff, like this axle was missing the drive flange, so they carry stuff like that. And then also, they got new studs for the drive flangers, the conical washers, the washers, and the nuts. So we'll have all new stuff for that as well. So we set you up on the tripod here and kind of explain what you have to do. All right, so what we have to do is we have to knock the races out, the upper and the lower section here. I get a longer punch. I prefer these. This one's snap-on, but they're about all the same. Has a nice flat end on it here. And you come down through, and then on the back side there, first you drop it. That's the first step. Yeah, you guys can see it. There's little cutouts so you can get your race out. So what we do is bring this through. You have a cutout on the front and the back, and kind of switch sides. Go back and forth. And she falls out. Do the same thing for the top. Sometimes you don't have to change the races out if there's nothing really wrong with them. If like you're just doing seals and your bearings are fine, then I don't really see the need to change them out every time. But since this axle's been not treated the best, probably smart to do them. Go over to the other side here. Show you this. And again, more of the same. Ooh, that one really wants to move now. And I do believe they make like larger and smaller races for ones that have a little wallered out situation going. You can always take a chisel and score the inside of the axle housing in here, and that'll hold the race a little better. And these are not like wheel bearing races, so you can get away with that, because these are the pivot points for the knuckle, essentially. So, there we go. Both of those are out. I'm gonna get a paper towel and some brake parts cleaner and clean all this up, and then we'll show you how to put them in. All right, so next we're putting in the races here. So a race and a bearing go together, just like that. Okay, you can put these in the freezer, and then you can also heat your axle a little bit, and then they essentially will kind of drop in there. I've never done that, just me personally. I do have a new tool though. It's actually a race and seal driver. Never use these. I always use like a socket, and when putting races in, I've just been really careful with like a brass hammer and kind of work my way around. So got a new driver. It's kind of, see if you guys can see that. It's chamfered, angled on one side. That's for driving races because it kind of helps it lock in there, and you flip it around and it can drive seals in. So I'm gonna give it a shot, see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll just stop using it. Make sure you guys can see here. There you go. And all the bearing and races are the same on 80 series, top and bottom, left and right. So nothing crazy to worry about there. See if these want to go in or not. Yep, wants to go in. So all we do is that's it. And when you know you're done is it's bottomed out in the bottom down there. That's one. Let's do the bottom. Again, line it up all nice like. And they're in. That's it. Move you to the other side. I know this is going to be a kind of boring video for some of you because it's kind of basic stuff, but something on video is better than nothing on video. Bearings are angled, so it's going to go in that way. Put that on there. Done. That's simple. Last one. This channel recently has been more of a how-to channel, which is kind of crazy. Doing a little bit of everything. This one's being stubborn and it's went in at an angle. So, hard to tell. But it's gone in at an angle, so let's see if we can rescue it. What I'm gonna do is take my driver here and angle it like that just a little bit and try getting it square back up. There she goes, now square it back up. The axle jumping up and down probably didn't help anything. There you go, done. So, let me figure out what we can do next because we are waiting on East Coast Gear Supply to send the thirds back. So, I think what we do next is, I think we can start assembling everything here. Because you can slide the burr fields through the knuckles, which I got the other one cleaned up and painted this morning. So probably go ahead and get all that assembled. That way when the third gets here, we can throw the third back in, then throw the burr field axles back in, then we will assemble the hubs. So let me figure out what I'm doing next. All right. Next we're going to do is talk about seals and the keepers, and then we're going to kind of explain how to get the whole outer on. So we're using that, but we're going to start with the passenger side here. We've got it sat on the bench here. I'll show you how the order of these go. So here's the outer. This is the axle side, that is the wheel side. This is the top, that's the bottom. All right, so it's sitting like that. You can't assemble it on a workbench. I won't explain the seals because it's a lot easier to do it while it's like this. All right, first we have this hard metal clip, right? Got the brake in it. The brake here in it is gonna go up top. They've got the brake on there so you can like bend this thing over to get over the knuckle. I'll show you that in a second. There's a little divot in it that goes towards the direct bottom. So after this is on, this is how these seals are gonna go on. That guy's gonna sit like that. Next is your rubber seal. So there's a flat side and there's a raised side. Some aftermarket kits don't have a raised side. What you want is the flat side going against like that. Next is your felt seal, like your wiper, you should say. So it all kind of looks the same, but there are two flat sides there and there. If if you look, there's a flat side. That's how you can remember where it goes. It'll line up with all the little holes, little 10mm holes that go all the way around, right? Now what holds these on are the metal half clips. All right, so they only go on one way. The bolt holes only line one way. So easiest way to do it, start from the bottom one, right? You line your holes up, boom. Notice there's a hole on that side, but not that side, because this side gets mirrored. So it will go underneath and that will go over, and they will pinch each other down. And that's what seals around the Burfield style Toyota axle. That is how it will be assembled on the truck. And again, you can't assemble that here because it won't slip over the knuckle. So let's go over to the truck and I'll show you that. All right, back to the truck here. Again, the felt piece will stretch over just barely. It stretches like that. The rubber one, again, rubber, it stretches, and then we have our hard metal. Again, doesn't really want to go because it's hard metal, but it goes up and over like that. So let me hang the other side and I will be back. All right, other side is hung. So still on the passenger side here. See if I can get the tripod to cooperate with me. Good enough. So this is now going to go over top of here. But before you can put this on, we have to put our bearings in, and we need to grease our bearings. So we have to pack our bearings. I'll show you how to do that in a second, but now this is going to go on. I need to do some cleanup of the lower steering arms there, but we will show you as far as I can go for now. But again, that's got to go on, but to do that first, we got to grease some bearings. While I'm talking about the bearings, we also have our keepers. So this is the old nasty keeper that came off of it. They come with the shims here. I have had great luck. The new kit that any kit's going to give you is going to give you new these, right? I have had awesome luck just reusing the old one. I'm sure you can get the caliper out and measure this and find a new one, but like I just reuse this one, and 9 times out of 10 it's the perfect spacing for everything to work right. So again, I just reuse the old one. Fight me, don't care, say what you want, it just works. So let me clean these up on both sides and also the lower arms, and I'll be back. All right, got those getting painted, or sorry, the paint's drying on those. Little parts washer action for the arms and the caps. Now we're gonna do the bearings here. I will say these are not wheel bearings. They are the bearings that let you turn. You don't have to spend 30 minutes per bearing to make sure there's grease all in them, right? So pack it like you normally would a bearing, right? So run it around the outside real quick, like that. All right, do that, and then start mashing it in. A lot of people use like their palm and they'll push it in. I like to use my fingers. It's all the same. So start pushing that in. So a little more. See that little gap right there? What you do, line it up, and then just I push my fingers and roll my fingers into the glove. Right? So we can see grease is starting to push through that way. I'm just going to hit the other side. Do the same thing. Push it all in there. Again, these aren't wheel bearings. They're not rolling their way down the road as you go. They simply are just pivoting as you steer. And they will have tons of grease on them in a few minutes. So spin them again, add more grease to the outside. Roll them again. So I'm holding the intersection of the bearing and spinning like this. So we just need to get grease in them. Grease is in them, they're good. Add a little bit more, because why not? All right. The top ones on the axle you can set in place. The bottom ones would fall out and hit the floor and get all nasty. So we will do the top ones first, set them in place, and then come back for the bottom ones. Again, they're all the same bearing, so it really doesn't matter, but yeah, get the idea. And I'm using the high temp stuff. You can use the gray grease or the black grease for these, but I have a massive tub of high temp, so I'm gonna use it. I'm also out of black grease, so that's the other reason. That guy is in place. Do the next one. Grease around the outside. Roll it a bunch. All right. Then, again, a little bit of grease. Start pushing it down in the gap of the bearing. So, push it in. All right. Be back when all 4 are done. All right, so I actually found a tub hidden in the cabinet. So I can't fully lube this thing up yet because, again, we're waiting on the diff and I can't slide the axles into the diff, but we can get everything else kind of set in place. So what I'm gonna do first is I like to just take a little bit of this and rub it all around the knuckle here. See, I already got the bearing in the top. You don't cake it up, but I just a light coat here. I just don't like the seals there to be rubbing on dry if possible. So just a light coat all around, nothing crazy. That's it. So, boom, go do the other side, and then I'll be right back. All right, now that's done on both sides. Now we can get the outers on. So it kinda is a little difficult, but it's not bad. You kind of have to balance a few things. And then I'm not going to wear a glove because I don't want to get grease that I don't feel in my hand anywhere. So this guy has to go up in here like that. The grease will hold it for you. And then this comes up in like this. I forgot my shim. Done getting greasy, so again, I just use the used shim to start out with. It is what it is. Drop this guy in. This surface goes here. That surface will go inside that bearing. So, kind of have to play with it. Eventually, they kind of line up like that. Sometimes they require a hammer, but like this right here, perfectly fine. So there's that. And then the lower one, around here somewhere, is there. And then I grab just one of the nuts. I'm not grabbing the washers, and it's just to keep this thing from falling. And this goes up this way. So this one's the double one because it is the passenger side. It comes up inside the bearing. There it goes. So there we are. And then just spin just a single nut on it for now to hold it. Clean my hands up because I kind of clean those up. and then I'll show you guys what's going on. What we have is, saw me tap that down, that's getting this seated inside that top bearing, and then you have your two larger bolts here from the whole assembly. Kind of want to get those guys started. Because this upper plate and the lower plate are essentially centering this guy. So get those like that. And then, as you can see, it pivots. Yay. Take off the stand here. So, bottom bearing kind of shows you what's going on. It all pivots. Same thing there. And that's how that works. We get the other side set up roughly this way, and then I will show you the seals going on the back side. But first we'll tighten this down, and I'll show you how to tension this the right way. All right, so what we got going on now is, this is the driver's side, so it's got the single arm, it doesn't have the one coming up. So how we assemble this is, get your conical, it goes up, and then we have our normal washer and the nut. They all just go in like that. So what we'll do, put them all in. Tighten this up. Just like that. All in one. And you gotta be careful with these because they like to cross thread. These aren't the cleanest ones either, so it's not helping anything. There it goes. All right, so what I've done is tighten the bottom up, they're 17s, tighten the top up, they're 17s. I have used the shim that came on it, and everything's tight. And then there's a tool. There's a tool that measures this. It's like whatever pounds, it's like 713. I don't know. It's been so long since I've used one because I just feel for it by hand. Just done a lot of them. So grab it and I can move it. It's not super floppy. I've already moved it a lot before I started videoing. I can move it with about a finger, a couple pounds to pull it. It's nothing horrible, but I'm not forcing it, it's not flopping. So that's about it. But you need to make sure you move it back and forth a lot because when I first did it, it was super stiff, and then now it's there. So what you would do if you needed more tension would be reduce that shim with a thinner one. And if you needed less tension, you would add shims on this top one here. And that's how you increase and decrease the tension for this. But again, 9 times out of 10, when I've ever done these, the one that came off of it, if you just reuse it, it works. So there we go. Yay. And of course, this side the same way. Oh, get you set up there. Always pull off the back because that's where the tie rod is on an 80 series. Again, pulling, 2 fingers. It's not flopping, but I'm not forcing it. That's right. So again, reuse the shim that came on it. Super simple. And then let me take you off the stand here, show you the bearings in there, what they got going on. So they're rotating just like they should be. And this whole cavity in here will be full of the black moly grease. So your CV area gets the black moly grease. The outer section that is the hubs and such gets the red high temperature because brakes and wheel bearings. But this will all get covered in grease in here. This whole cavity completely full. We'll show you that. So those bearings get caked. CV spinning, throws grease up, grease settling down, gets those. This hole inside here, where we already put a little bit of grease, gets covered in more black grease. So yeah, let's do the seals on the backside now. I'll show you one of those. All right, show you how to set the seals up here. So pretty simple. Again, very hard metal guy. The brake goes up. It goes in just like that. Then we have our rubber guy. It comes and stays just like that. If they don't stay, if you add just a little bit of grease on them, they will stay. And then this guy, again, flat on the top and the bottom, will sit something like that. That's your wiper seals. So they roll on this big ball joint, Burfield. Same thing. They roll on it. And then what I do is grab two bolts, and these go like this. Get them started, don't tighten them down. They go through, if you can see that, they go through the felt. If you get them all started, it makes life really simple. And one thing you have to be careful of is making sure the black rubber seal seats down in there. So if you start at the top, usually if it's going to fall down. So we're golden there, right? So we can push that hard. Do these top two just by hand, and that'll kind of hold the rubber ring around. Grab two more bolts. Apply it the opposite here. You just got to make sure you hook it the right way. So the side towards me right now goes under. That side will go over. But start the bottoms again, or just completely launch it off the thing. There we go. There we go. Cross-threaded. Check the black seal again one more time, and the metal seal as well, or not really a seal, just that keeper ring. Make sure they did not mess up. And then this guy right here comes in just like that. And this side, and this kind of applies for all Toyota solid axles. They all use the same design. They're not all the same parts. It's like a 79 series and an 80 series. I believe they're different part numbers, and as well as like mini truck axles. I believe they're different. But all I do is tighten these guys down with a little 10 millimeter. Don't go ham on them. I'm sure there's a torque spec somewhere out there in the world. I watch it, and as soon as the plate here hits that, that's when I stop, because all we're doing is trying to keep everything in place. And I tighten them down in the same order that I put them in. That's it. If you guys haven't figured out, I understand torque specs are important, but they're not important all the time. Putting an engine together, probably. If you tighten down a little 10 millimeter that holds the wiper seal in place, just don't go ham on it, you know? Feel it out. You snap enough bolts, you kind of learn that good old hand torque. So I use a little 1/4" ratchet, and then right there. Go back and test myself. That was it. And I'll show you guys how the wiper seal works. So kind of see that grease. Make sure we got enough light. Yeah, you guys can kind of see that grease. And then when this moves back and forth, it wipes clean. The idea is dirt and muck won't make its way into where the grease is. So this is essentially the seal between the two worlds. So there we go. Again, it's a little stiffer now because it's got new seals, but I can still pull it. It's not horrible. Steering's not gonna fight, but it's not flopping around everywhere. And even me just doing that for a little bit, that big ball is all clean again. So that's why I like to put a little bit of grease on it. I'm gonna get the other side finished up. I think that's gonna be it. That's all we can really do on this front end until East Coast Gear Supply ships us our thirds back. See you guys later. Bye. Oh, like, share, subscribe, all the stuff. If you guys like this how-to stuff like we've got going on, I'll continue it. We'll do some vehicle reviews and such as well. See you guys later. Bye.